Hello and welcome to a time special presentation for Thirukkural with the Times, where we explore real-world lessons from the classic Tamil text Thirukkural with motivational speaker, author and diversity champion Bharathi Baskar as she explores the masterpiece. Studies have proven that words have the power to override perception. A public speech isn't just addressed to a small crowd. Each word is a possible epitaph etched into public memory and is replayed and dissected relentlessly. In a world where the line between free speech and profanity is blurring, Valluvar's thoughts on the importance of choosing words gain new relevance.
Throughout my childhood, I never heard a single swear word or an indecent expression echo through the walls of our home. The harshest reprimand I remember was my mother's rare, "Don't be stupid," and even that would send my sisters and me into hours of tears. Not because the word was menacing, but because we knew we could milk that moment into an extra hug, a sweet treat, just her soft palm caressing our head. Public meetings with foul-mouthed speakers were forbidden territory. In those days, decency was a non-negotiable virtue, and profanity, even when uttered by fringe voices, remained contained, kept in the shadows by a world untouched by social media's omnipresence. But today, the dam has burst. Words once abandoned and were only found rarely in Harold Robinson novels, which we flip pages quickly, are now flung around like stones in the street. The once hushed four-letter words now find its way into our films, played openly at home, seeping into innocent ears. College corridors ring with sexually explicit banter, and our virtual timelines are overflowing with vulgarity masquerading as stand-up comedy, rebellion, or free thought. Even amidst the steady erosion of linguistic values, a recent political speech shocked the conscience of many. Delivered by a senior leader holding high office, it was a cocktail of crudeness, misogynistic, irreverent, and peppered with deliberate obscenity. Yes, free speech is the bedrock of a thriving democracy. But when profanity is dressed up as freedom, when it targets genders, communities, and denigrates symbols held sacred, it stops being brave and becomes brutish. It ceases to be expression and becomes aggression. It is at such junctures that the wisdom of Thiruvalluvar shines with piercing clarity. In the chapter titled The Power of Speech, he writes, "Aakkamum Kedum Adhanaal Varudhalaal Kaathombal Sollinkatt Sorvu." Gain and loss in life depend on speech. Hence, defend thyself from careless slips. Valluvar places this couplet not just among the general code of conduct, but squarely within the section meant for ministers, those who advise kings, wield power, and influence the masses. Why? Because words in the hands of the powerful are like fire in the hands of a sorcerer. They can illuminate or incinerate. The Porutpal, or the Book of Wealth in Thirukkural, is often considered a manual on governance. Scholars further divide it into guidelines for kings, ministers, and frameworks for good governance. The fact that speech is highlighted in the ministerial section is no coincidence. Valluvar saw what many modern minds often overlook. The governance isn't just about policies, it's about poise. Science is increasingly acknowledging the power of language on human perceptions. A fascinating study at the University of Wisconsin-Madison subjected participants to mismatched visuals and audio. So when they showed an image of a tiger, but the voiceover said that it was a bear, the brain believed what it heard rather than what it saw. The takeaway? Words have the power to override perception. Language doesn't describe reality, it shapes it. If that is the impact of casual language on cognition, imagine the influence of a public speech. Every word carries a weight far heavier than the breath that bore it. It molds opinions, cements prejudices, and inspires action. Words do remain in the air around us much longer than what we think. If a speaker thinks about a small crowd around him, he is mistaken, for his voice is traveling farther than he imagines, replayed endlessly, dissected relentlessly. He becomes a solo figure under 1,000 watching eyes, each word a possible epitaph etched into public memory. His speech cannot be isolated from him, as words are nothing but a larger picture of one's own inner self. So, what is the test then? Let every speaker ask himself one question before stepping onto the stage. Would I say these words in front of my daughter? My granddaughter? If the answer is no, then the script must change. In an era that prices volume over value, it is all the more vital that we return to the wisdom of restraint as prescribed by Valluvar. Let us then choose our words with care, for they are not just sounds, they are seeds.